Let's all go live in a Christmas movie where the bakery's safe and the snow falls smoothly.
All right. Hey there, it's Heather and Darius. We are back with another episode of 12 Days of Ugly Sweaters and Christmas Movie Tropes, where we review some of the new releases in the 2025 Hallmark Christmas movie season.
Yeah.
And today we are talking about Alpine Holiday.
Holiday, yes.
Jump right in, Darius.
Well, you know me, and anybody who's been watching these reviews has learned that if you take me outside of the United States for Christmas, you've already halfway won me over, right? So Alpine Christmas, and to go to France and talk about climbing Mont Blanc and anything French related, and the chateau and the blah blah blah. Oh yeah, yeah, they grabbed my heart just with the beginning.
The croissant
Oh, you can't
and the
leave that out.
bread
You can't leave
and the
that out, right?
pastries and the cheese. Did you? I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm with you there. The setting was amazing. The we actually have so Ashley Williams played the Faith, one of the sisters, Faith.
hmm
And
hmm
she, I don't know if you ever watched How I Met Your Mother, but she was in How I Met Your Mother for several episodes where she was one of like Ted Mosby's love interests. And I
Okay.
guess she's had a pretty long career with Hallmark, but I really
Yeah,
like her as an actress anyway. You
I do
know,
too.
she plays her parts well. She's really fun. So just her being in it was, like a big plus. I thought the lead actor did a great job.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool story and it was mostly plausible. Few little bits of it, maybe not so much. My 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 husband Josh walked through when I was watching it, and he sat down and watched a little bit of it with me, and he pointed out, he's like, the only thing that I can pick apart in this movie is that when you look and they show that photo of the grandparents, he's like, it didn't look like it was aged like it was back in the 70s. It looks too modern.
Ah,
He's like, that wasn't
okay.
believable. But
Okay.
even he didn't really find anything, to pick apart about it in
Yeah.
terms of believability, right? Like
Okay.
the thing was mostly believable. And
It
at
was.
a point where I thought they were going into some unbelievable territory, like up on the mountain
hmm
when she got stupid, at least they
hmm
called her out for being stupid, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
before and after. So that redeemed what could have been something that would have knocked their rating down in my book.
Gotcha. I will tell you I think the only thing that it irritated me a little bit was there were like three separate times where the sisters said the same things to each other. You know, you've always been afraid to be adventurous. You've always wanted nothing but adventure and won't settle down. How many times are we going to have this same little semi conversation, before you just really have the full conversation? Every time, well, the second time it happened, I said, "Oh, here we go again," and then they still didn't get anything resolved. So by the time the third time happened, I said, "Oh my God, I've had enough of this." Let's let's be really passive aggressive to each other and just say a little bit and then move on. Like, okay, we get it. We really get it by now.
I'll tell you why that probably didn't irritate me because, as you know, I've raised four kids, and it seemed very believable down to the repetition of the
Okay.
accusations that fly and nothing ever gets resolved
Ah,
because
gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what I attributed it to. I noticed in the beginning that, and perhaps some others were too, but I don't know, for whatever reason, when the directed by came up on this one, I saw that it was directed by a female director. And I thought, well, wonderful, and it's talking about a sisterhood and the relationship between sisters. And so I just thought, well, maybe I just don't get it. Maybe they really do this, let's nip at each other just a little bit every now and then eventually maybe we'll get a resolution out of it. Yeah, so I just let it
yeah,
go.
it's okay. I thought you didn't watch opening credits though.
I typically don't, and that's what I was saying. I usually don't even notice those things, and
Yeah.
I don't know why, but when it came up directed by, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the director's name, but I did notice that it was a female name, and I thought, oh, good. With a lot of these shows, I'm just wondering now, have they been directed by females or produced or written by females? So I'm interested in checking that out now to be doing a little research after this.
Yeah, yeah. So when Josh was pointing out that that one particular photo of the engagement didn't
Uh-huh.
look like it had like aged, right? It looked too modern,
Yeah.
right? Then there was it froze on like another photo. He's like, see, that one looks aged appropriate. It looks like it was taken in the 70s. And I said, yeah, but allegedly the grandmother wrote the travel journal, like, while she was traveling or soon after they had traveled. And I'm
And
pretty
it
sure we
wasn't
were not
aged.
using well, we weren't using washi tape in America back in the 70s.
Uh,
I don't think it was a commonly available stationary item. And as a washi tape aficionado, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Maybe I just didn't know anything about
yeah.
it for all of my life until it became popular online. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it didn't look like because back then, I don't think I think that the only scrapbooks you saw, like just thinking back to my childhood, they had like the baby books, or you might have like a wedding book. And it's
Yeah.
not that people didn't scrapbook, but there weren't all these scrapbook materials. There wasn't the scrapbook microculture that exists now. And
Hmm.
like her journal looked very scrapbook microculture, like modern. So, but I mean, that's
Well,
like a kind of a tiny thing to pick apart, except that it was very featured.
and if you could, maybe think of that in when she was making preparations along with the will and what she wanted the girls to do, what grandma wanted the girls to do. If you think about it in that regard, maybe while she was writing all of that stuff, because she had everything ready for them in France. It
Yeah.
wasn't just, I want you to go on this adventure. Once they got there, there were still things from her gifts and, notes and all of this. So maybe if we think about it in well, while she was doing this for her end of life planning, maybe she was going back and adding some of this, these little tape and all. I don't know. Let's
Maybe
just
so.
do the suspended belief thing for that.
The suspended belief for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But her shopping list for them at the chalet of like when you go into town, you have to get
Mhm. Yeah.
right. It
Yeah.
was cheese, meat, bread, pastries, and chocolate. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, yes, Grandma, yes.
Yeah, grandma knew the right things to get. And I'm glad that they really stuck to everything that she wanted. I was expecting at some of these times that they would, kind of veer off. So even there closer to the end where they did encounter the snowstorm coming in, and it's like, okay, this may cause us to change our timeline just a little bit. And the one sister was like, no, it has to be today. So I was expecting a little more of that. Something's going to be done a little differently than Grandma expected, but they pretty much stuck to her plan. And I really did like all of the resolution that came about. I liked all of the acting as well.
Yeah.
It was really just the three main characters, but they all did a great job.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I mean, other than me being super ridiculous and picky about the travel journal, it really was a believable story. They really did do a great job.
Yeah.
And there's just the settings. I mean, the settings alone and the little towns, and I mean, yeah, like, yeah.
I've spent Christmas in Europe. And
uh,
so for them to walk these stone streets and, and look, I know that feeling. And it really is unique when you get off the plane and you start venturing into these towns and these cities, and you're like, wow, this is so different. It's just, and they even pointed out at one point about Europe being a little bit more laid back. Yes, you come here with a goal, but it's not, let's just go, 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 get this done. It's like, enjoy the moment. And it really is that way. And then, so that, like I said, anytime you take me outside of the US, and I love our country, but when you take us outside for a Christmas setting and you realize things are a bit different, I think it piques everyone's curiosity. Like, is it really like that? Yes, it really is. And then it may encourage people to try something different. And I like any type of movie or TV show or book or anything that will encourage people to explore and fulfill their lives even more.
yeah, absolutely. So, how many nutcrackers does it get?
This one almost got a 5, but I'm giving it a 4. Um, I loved it. It was a great movie. It really was a great movie.
I'm also giving it 4 peppermint swirl
Folks,
pops.
you will never see this again. Wow. Wow. So this final set of movies really got you, huh?
Well, I'll accept that first one that I had to give a one. And
Well,
if I
well,
had a zero, if I had a zero prepared, I probably would have given that one a zero. But but that's okay, right?
yeah,
I mean, look, well, they can't all be winners, right?
yeah,
Statistically, they cannot all be winners. So,
yeah, and
all
they have
right.
lots of them.
So there you have it. Alpine Holiday gets a solid 4 from both of us. And tomorrow we will be with you for the very last time as we explore one last Christmas release from the 2025 Hallmark Christmas movie season here on 12 Days of Ugly Sweaters and Christmas Movie Tropes. Bye.
Let's all go live in a Christmas movie where the bakery saved down the snow falls smoothly. Trade the big city rush for a hometown glow. Under mistletoe magic, love will grow.